Make the streams louder.
What's up everyone, welcome to the channel. Today's a very exciting day. As promised, I'm going to do a video shoot with the new 2018 Camaro Zl1 1LE. So let's take a look at it. Under the hood, you'll find the LT4, which is a 6.2-liter supercharged V8 producing 650 horsepower and 650 foot-pound of torque. Has forged aluminum pistons and is the same motor used in the current Zl1 and also the current Z06. The car also has an additional 300 pounds of downforce due to the bigger front splitter, the side canards, and the massive rear wing spoiler. The car has race compound tires made by Goodyear. They're the Goodyear Eagle F1 Supercar R3s, very similar to the Michelin Sport Cup 2s. Up front you'll find 305/30 19s, and in the rear you'll find 325/30 19s. To put that in perspective, the rear tires on this car are 40 millimeters wider than the tires on my C7 Corvette. The car has massive Brembo brakes with 15-inch rotors up front with 6 piston calipers, and on the rear it has 4 piston calipers. It has a nice flat bottom steering wheel, Tremec 6-speed manual transmission, analog gauges for RPM and speed, and a nice large infotainment screen. Alright, so enough talking. We talked about the car, we did a walk around. Now it's time to actually drive it. First impressions, wow. Pulls hard, and I'll tell you what, I've driven the LT4 a couple different times. Once in the new Z06, which had the 8-speed auto, and also the regular Zl1 with the new GM's 10-speed auto. And I'll tell you what, the manual's the way to go. Just in case you didn't know, if you were planning on buying this Camaro Zl1 1LE and you are torn between the two transmission options, don't worry, GM has already made up the decision for you. It only comes in the 6-speed manual. Now so far we're on a pretty smooth road, and from everything I've read about this car with the hard-mounted suspension components, is that the car rides pretty bumpy. Not really sure, I mean it feels pretty good on this smooth road, but as far as a daily driver, some people say it's a little bit much. However, I mean this is a track-focused car. It is not a joke. It doesn't try to pretend to be a dual personality where, you know, you're going to drive it around town and have a nice smooth ride and then go out on the track and, you know, be able to hammer it. This car is strictly, for the most part, a track car that is street legal. Now the gearbox is actually very smooth, very easy to use. Clutch feel is nice also. I really like the suede steering wheel, or Alcantara, I'm not sure which one it is, but regardless, it feels good. And man, that whine of the supercharger when you punch it, wow. So now when I drove the 10-speed Zl1, to be honest with you, coming from a manual transmission, I wasn't super excited. Yeah, the car's blazing fast, it could shift faster than I probably could, but there's just something about rolling through the gears, and every time you shift gears, feeling that torque all over again. It's just very rewarding. So I'm gonna drive it around a little bit more. We're gonna head up the mountain just a little bit. You know, that way hopefully we can take a few corners and see how this thing acts. as you can see, this car pulls like a freight train. Unbelievable. So buttery smooth. I mean, pretty much anybody could probably drive this car. However, it does ride a little bit bumpy when I went over the little dots in the middle or whatever. I mean, you do feel every bump, but that's the trade-off. I mean, if you want a car that handles so good, you know, it is what it is. But let me tell you, it is a blast. Now that was an acceleration climbing up the mountain, and it just unbelievable. This is one of those cars that you definitely have to exercise restraint, and you have to have respect for the car, because this car, if you don't know what you're doing, could kill you in about 2 seconds. Those were just some high-speed sweepers, so I can only imagine this on something with some tighter corners. This car is just unfreaking believable. I don't know if it was a good idea for me to drive it. I've been driving this car now for about 20 minutes, so I haven't had a whole lot of time, but let me tell you, the seats are very comfortable. They do provide good lateral support. Pretty comfortable. Everything's laid out pretty nice as far as the gear shifter, steering wheel. Everything just feels great. All right, so we have a slight change of plans here. As I was driving up here, the car had half a tank of fuel. And now we're down to less than a quarter of a tank. I just checked the distance to empty, 57 miles. So, yeah, from what I understand, this car, if you're getting on it hard, you're lucky if you're gonna average 13 miles to the gallon. So, with that being said, I mean, it is a fun car, but it's just something to keep in mind that if you're going to take it on a trip, make sure you gas it up all the way every single time. Well, we made it to the gas station. We had about, if you check the distance to empty, it was about 45 miles, so we made it back in time. So just filled it up with gas, so we should be good. We're gonna do one little rip down the street, where I always do for my videos. Should be pretty fun. So that's about it for today's video. I hope you all enjoyed. If you're checking in for the first time, please subscribe. And if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, and I will catch you in the next video.
We make the streams louder.